Good morning, Dick. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you,
I am
Forrest?
doing
How
well.
are you?
Good to see you.
Good to be seen. Thanks.
Yeah. Good morning, Brewster. How are you doing? Brewster, you're muted if you're talking.
Good morning. How you doing?
All
Doing
right.
good.
Oh, I got a bunch of folks already on the line here. Wow.
Yeah.
Morning,
Judge
Brewster.
Exec,
Morning, Forrest.
good morning. Good to see you,
Morning.
Bill. Mayor Cleaves, Judge Executive Sparks, Lynn Fuller. Great to have
Hmm.
you guys. Oh, wow.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, good to
Hi,
have you.
Sherry.
Morning.
How are you?
Good morning, everyone.
Hey,
Morning.
Pavla, good to have you. All right, folks will be joining in today.
Hmm.
We had a busy packed schedule for Forrest to run through in a timely fashion.
Right.
There's a lot going on.
There
Her.
always is.
Sherry, where are you based?
So I am along the river, the Ohio River between New Richmond and Coney Island.
Okay.
I told Forrest I have I my voice is still with me, but not quite as strong as usual. So I'm recovering.
I like your backdrop.
Thank you. That's a piece of art by my friend's mother. It's
Cool.
yeah, if you ever see it in person, you'll wonder what creatures are part of that mosaic.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah. Rick, how are you?
Good. Yourself?
Doing good. Doing good.
Hey, Rick.
What is the news with Ironton Sanitation District?
Oh.
Cold and snowing, and we're out in the Wayne National Forest today,
Okay.
cleaning up boats and
Hmm.
all kinds of lovely stuff people decided to dump in the forest, which
Mm.
kind of frustrating when the forest doesn't even show up. The forestry people don't show up to help clean up their mess. So
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I know you all are always at it in terms of getting litter from away from everything.
Yep.
Uh, so
Thank you for joining us, Molly. Jessica, great. Good to see you guys. David is with us. All right. Eric Thomas, wonderful to have Corba in the house. Mitchell, thank you. Sherry, good. Greg Riley, wow. Folks are getting into the spirit with the new year here, huh? All right, we'll wait for a couple more minutes and we'll get going. We have a lot to cover in today's meeting here.
mhm. Hey, Rick's joining.
Hey, Matt, good to see you. Rick Ryway, wow. Jeremy, thank you.
you for having me this morning. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, Jeremy. Hey, remind us, where are you, Jeremy?
So I am in Chillicothe, Ohio, and I am with the Office of U.S. Senator Bernie Moreno.
Oh, it's so wonderful to have you. Thank
Absolutely.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
We're very grateful to have you join us, Jeremy. And if you could, well, I'd love to follow up with you, and I'll put my email in the chat. And so if you could get back to us, that'd be great. We want to stay in close touch with you.
Yep, please do.
Well, it'd be great to have the senator join us for a day or part of a day on our paddle. What do you think there, huh? We can talk more about that.
Yes, we certainly will. We will try our very best with that. Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay, great. Jessica Keaton, good to have you. Wow, everybody's coming in here. Jim, and Jim, whoa. Um, okay, well, let me turn this over here. Just to let folks know, I'm Brewster Rhodes. I'm the board chair of the Ohio Riverway. We have a wonderful board of very hardworking folks. Um, and a wonderful staff. And I see we have Dr. David Wicks from Louisville, the co-founder of this operation. And it's great to have you, David. Thank you very much. And we have a number of board members on the call. I see Susan Griffin Ward. Thank you, Susan. And I haven't checked out who else is actually on our board who was on the call here, but a number of folks, and I'll try to identify them as we go along. But we have a lot to share today about what is going on. We have some special guests, and we'd love to engage you all and have some dialogue as we get closer to the end of the meeting. We do our best to keep this meeting to 1 hour. So without further ado, let me pass this on to our Executive Director, Forrest. Take it
Yeah,
away.
thank you. Thank you so much, Brewster. And it is absolutely wonderful to see everyone for our first coalition meeting of the year. Um, in usual fashion, today's meeting will have three main parts. We're going to start with some updates from the Ohio River Way. From there, we will move on to our guest speakers for today, which we are very excited to have Sherry Cook Stanforth and Dick Haig joining us, who are the lead editors. Well, they can explain it better than I can, but they helped assemble a new book called Tributaria, which is focused on poetry, prose, and art inspired by the tributaries of the Ohio River watershed. And after they speak, we will make sure to reserve the last 15 minutes of the meeting or so for all of you all to provide updates from your communities. So very excited to hear from all of you all there. But let's go ahead and dive into it with some updates. Um, to start, we are excited to share that things are moving along with our ODOT funded bikeway planning in Ohio. As a reminder, this is $275,000 worth of planning over 182 miles from North Bend, near Ohio's border with Indiana, to Chesapeake, which is right across from Huntington, West Virginia. We will be posting that soon to go to competitive bid. We are excited that there are a number of good contractors they're interested in this. And then we expect them to start in May. So things are moving forward there. Um, Also, some news out of Ohio. The Ohio River Commission has hired a new executive director, their inaugural executive director, Taylor Abbott. And I hope he will be able to join us for a coalition meeting in the future, maybe this February, to introduce himself. We met him for the first time yesterday. But if you're in one of the Ohio communities, there's a new state entity that is there to work on your behalf on maritime interest, economic development, and tourism as well. So it does overlap with our scope. Perfect. All right. Shifting gears a bit. Registration is continuing for our challenge, which will be 488 and a half miles from Huntington, West Virginia, really Canova, all the way down to Evansville, Indiana, over 23 days, this May 10th to June 1st. If you know anyone that would like to register, please do share that. We are still welcoming student interns as well, but we have a good registration so far and very excited for that. And I will go ahead and pop a link in the chat if you know anyone that is interested in participating. But Mary from our team has been in touch with the campsites along the way and will soon be in touch with the restaurants and the communities as well to go ahead as we get more details settled. All right. Next, I'll share some updates on the Ohio River Restoration Program Act. I will ask, is there anyone on who knows more than me? I don't think Jordan Lebetkin or Chris Lawrence is. Susan, have you been tapped? You might be tapped into some more recent conversations than I have. Would you like to offer a quick update on where things are at there?
Sure. So the act was put forward by a number of bipartisan sponsors at the end of last year. It did not move through the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, or hasn't been heard by them yet. But in a meeting yesterday with the National Wildlife Federation, they indicated that they are still feeling extremely optimistic about it. They continue to get additional sponsors, but we need more sponsors. In Kentucky, the only sponsor currently from the House of Representatives is McGarvey. And so if there is anyone on the call who has an elected official, an elected congressman from other parts of Kentucky, we would encourage you to reach out to them and encourage them to provide sponsorship or offer their sponsorship of the act as well. We've also heard that the Senate is talking about creating or writing their own version of this, which is good news and would further its chances of succeeding. So it's moving forward. People are optimistic. It's kind of slow going. There's a lot happening in the world, but I think there's reason for optimism.
Mhm. Thank you, Susan. And I popped up on the screen the list of co-sponsors. And I put a link to the bill, and you can go to the co-sponsor tab if you're curious. Um, Susan, my understanding is that Representative Massey is a priority since he serves on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. So
Yeah.
if you were in his district, it would be good to ask. Also, the Ohio folks, right now, the only Ohio co-sponsors are Rowley and Sykes. I believe I'm saying that correctly. Um, that means that, Representative Taylor and folks in Cincinnati, those representatives do not currently co-sponsor this legislation. So if you would like to reach out to your folks, now is a good time. It's always a good time, but yeah.
Thanks, Forrest.
Thank you so much, Susan.
Hey, Forrest, I just put in the chat something that I should have said at the beginning of the meeting. We'd be grateful if everyone could put in the chat their name and organizational affiliation so everybody knows who is in the meeting.
Mhm.
If you don't mind taking a quick moment to do that. We know almost everybody, but not everybody else knows most everybody. So this is a way of spreading the knowledge. But go ahead, Forrest. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and on that bill, I imagine most of you have heard this from us about a half dozen times, but if anyone's new to it, it's a non-regulatory act. It would authorize $350 million a year within the Ohio River Basin for efforts related to water quality, habitat restoration, flooding mitigation, and recreational infrastructure. So please do read more if you are interested. All right. Um, any questions on any of what we have covered so far, Jerry?
Yeah. Do you have any sort of draft language that you could circulate to us to communicate to our congressman the need to support this?
I have seen stuff like that from the National Wildlife Federation. We can circulate some more on that. Susan, is there anything in particular you think would answer Jerry's question?
Yeah, I can look real quick here and see if I can copy and paste some language into the chat. If
Great.
not, I can send that out to you separately, Jerry.
Either way, I mean, it'd be a lot easier,
Yeah,
for me, and I wouldn't doubt others that if I had
yeah,
some idea of what to say to these people,
yeah,
it would
Mhm.
help.
Yeah.
Hey, Forrest.
absolutely.
Shannon?
Just one thing to add. When I was on a call the other day with Jordan and one of the coalitions, he said regarding the co-sponsorship, there's a lot of interest from more reps to sign on, but essentially they're building that list very intentionally to keep the bipartisan representation
Mhm.
as balanced as possible. So, not to be discouraged that your representative may not have signed on yet, but it's always good to keep those lines of communication open. So I think McGarvey and Houchin are kind of really building that as intentionally as possible. So like a sign one on, bring one on kind of building. So just adding that note.
Yeah.
And Forrest, I see that Jordan is on the call.
Speak of the devil. Jordan, we've just gone through some updates related to the Restoration Program Act.
Great. Sorry, my computer had to do a forced restart, so I apologize I'm late. I'm sure you guys covered it, but if you want me to add anything, please let me know.
There was a question from Jerry Schulte about draft language when reaching out to your member of Congress. Is that something, do you all have draft language that folks here could use?
Yes, we
Okay.
do.
Okay. Perfect. Sweet. Well,
I'll share that with you, Forrest, and you can share it with the team. How about
perfect.
that?
Perfect. Sweet. Thank you, Jordan. Awesome. Well, let's keep moving on. Um, and move into some updates from our committees. Um, how about we start with tourism? And forgive me, I'm not certain who all is on. I see Noelle is here and Cassie. Um, would you all like to offer an update from the tourism committee, including the upcoming meeting on February 11th? If any of you all would like to join, you're more than welcome.
I guess I can talk. We didn't really discuss who was going to give any update. We have a meeting coming up on February 11th to provide a webinar. Hold on one second. Sorry, I just want to make sure I have the dates correct. Forrest, you're going to have to pipe in because I have this on my calendar as a regular meeting, not as the hip camp meeting. Even though you told me the other day it was the hip camp meeting.
Yeah, we have it down as the hip camp meeting, but I think we'll also have time to address some more business of the tourism committee. So
the plan for this particular meeting is specifically to introduce the hip camp group and what they are bringing to the table in regards to their relationship or agreement with Ohio River Way. So that way, if anybody else, in addition to the tourism committee, is interested in learning more about this partnership, you are welcome to be a part of this call. These are all virtual meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will be having another meeting in April. Sorry. Yes. On April 8th, which will be essentially a tourism specific committee meeting. Again, if for any reason you are not on our tourism committee contact list, we've done a really good job over the last couple of years of vetting it down and making sure that the people on it should be on it and the people that don't want to be on it aren't on it. But if you want to be invited to these meetings or receive information as we do them, please let Forrest or Jessica or me know, and we'll make sure that you get invited to those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just to jump in as well, the very first meeting of the year will be on February 11th. The Hip Camp Partnership webinar is just about a 15 to 20 minute aspect of it, and then we will go into our regular business after that. So yeah.
Which regarding the hip camp, so I put a link to that collection in the chat. We just want to go over, not just what does this mean, but what does it take to set up a hip camp and what are the benefits of doing so. So from our end, we just want to see more campsites along the river. All right. I know that Wade and Brad are not on today, but our cycling working group, which is our newest committee, is making very good progress. Our next meeting will be in person, February 25th, in Aberdeen. If you would like to join, please do let me know. This group is providing feedback not only on the ODOT grant, but also different funding opportunities in Indiana and Kentucky to go after. So for instance, we are working on transportation alternatives applications here in Kentucky to try to fund some additional, planning modeled after the work that's been funded in Ohio. So very excited there and grateful to Tri-State Trails for all that they are doing. I do not believe we have conservation committee meetings scheduled out for the year yet. I might be mistaken. And I don't think there are any updates there. We can hear from them next month. Regarding the GIS group within them, led by Margaret Minzer of OKI, I know they are very active and continue to meet and discuss different things they can map out, including priority lands for conservation. I think those are all the committee updates, unless I'm missing anything. If anyone would like to chime in. All right. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And I think those are all of our updates as an organization as well. Well, I say that. You will hear more about this next month when she is formally part of the team, but we are absolutely ecstatic to share that Molly Pope will be joining our team as our second full-time employee. We have an incredible team of volunteers and contractors. Right now, I'm the only full-time employee. This will bring us up to two. Molly is currently the manager of the Thomas More University Biology Field Station, and we're absolutely just so excited that she will be joining us to improve our internal operations as deputy director. So you will get to meet Molly before too long, but I wanted to go ahead and share that. Perfect. All right. With that, let's move into our guest speakers. Sherry and Dick. So this began not too long ago. I bumped into Dick Haig at a talk with the Northern Kentucky Fly Fishers, um,
Watermelon.
and heard about this book. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, did this come out in October?
Oh, my goodness. It's been
Yeah.
so long. November.
November. Okay.
Yeah.
So brand new book,
Yeah.
focused on celebrating the art and culture of the Ohio River. I wish I had a copy already. I went to Roebling
It's showing
Books and
up
they
there,
were out
yeah.
of it and they've put in an order. So I have not read it yet, but very excited for you all to share more about what you all are working on. So I'll hand the mic over to you.
Hello. We are honored to be here. I am showing a picture here of Tributaria's cover. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Wonderful. First of all, I want to comment that the whole idea of tributaries is enacting itself here. Molly is a dear friend of mine, and Dick and I both do a lot of work with the field station in Kentucky. So I'm really delighted too to hear the good news.
Yeah, me
Kind
too.
of already knew about. So I'll say two words, and then I'll turn the floor over to my co-editor friend Dick, and then I'll jump back in. But the mission behind Tributaria and its predecessor, Anthology Riparian, is to emphasize the power of art storytelling and how well it entwines with ecological stewardship missions. People crave story, and when you can bring people around water concerns and water topics through story, poetry, flash memoir, photography, visual art. We use music at a lot of our events. The connection and the creative empathy really starts to move powerfully. So these two volumes, the newest one being Tributaria, have stirred communities all up and down the Ohio River. Our first one focused on the Ohio River, and this current one focuses on all the tributaries in the Ohio River watershed. And we've aimed for a lot of texture and variety in this edition of Tributaria. You'll find the Tennessee River, Mill Creek, New River, Little Miami, the Licking, Fowler's Fork, and Gunpowder Creek watershed. It will take you to Tazewell County, Virginia, Carter County, Kentucky, Mingo Junction, Jefferson County, at the Cross Creek. We want people to understand that we all belong to this and that we're all connected to this through our stories of leisure, of work, of family memories, of discovery, of struggle, transportation, recreation. So variety is the spice of life in this. The other thing I'll quickly say before I turn the floor over to Dick to also reflect is we have another co-editor, Michael Thompson. Um, when I come back to say a few words, I'll show some of the art that he was our art editor. He's a younger person. We have tried to involve the generations in this. So between the two volumes, the youngest person is 16 as a contributor, and some of the older people are in their 90s. We have a woman who lived on the Ohio River, Dottie Weil, who did important documentary work around the river in our first volume. And then we involve them in the programming that we bring all over, which could be creative writing workshops or arts demonstrations with visual arts, music, and literary readings. The idea is to really emphasize the fact that we are connected as a family. Commoner's first law of ecology, that everything is connected to everything else, not only applies to waterways, but also to communities and the people within them. So Dick, I'll defer to you too to say a few words here.
Oh, well said, Cher. Thank you. Did you want to say something else?
Oh, I have many things I could say, but
I'll come
I
back.
will just go back and forth.
I'll just talk a little while. My connection to the Ohio River is a lifelong one. I was born at mile 65 on the Ohio River in Steubenville, right across from the Panhandle of West Virginia. My third great grandfather was a pioneer Ohio River man. He worked the Ohio from Pittsburgh to New Orleans, and then the Mississippi from Pittsburgh to New Orleans many times in his life. And I didn't even know about him until about a year or two ago when I finally discovered his obituary. So I belong to the sons and daughters of pioneer Ohio Rivermen, and just
proud to be a guy who's never lived more than 8 or 10 miles from the Ohio River, even at my most distant outreach. I lived for summers in a camp near New Matamoras, Ohio, up north of Marietta, upriver from Marietta, and spent a lot of time in Wayne National Forest. In fact, my camp was right in the middle of Wayne National Forest. So I'm very much a lover of Ohio River country. And riparian and tributaria they're not only literary artifacts, but we think of them as acts of conservation. Um, the stories, the poems, the artwork celebrating not only the Ohio River and riparian, but the whole watershed, 205,000 square miles in Tributaria. And as Sherry mentioned, we're far-reaching in that volume. But you know, the area is so vast, we could do two, three more, 10 more volumes, encyclopedia size, if we had the lifetime for it. But like I say, we see it as much an act of conservation as a literary artifact. And I'm an interdisciplinarian by nature, really. And so the mixture of, as Sherry says, we've had music at our events, art, uh, poetry, prose, photography, and these are all means of helping people become aware of our connections, not only to the rivers, but to ourselves, to each other.
The memory making that I see that I can't share anymore for some reason. Okay, I won't try because I know this time is precious in this meeting, but I wanted to mention that some of the memory making that occurs around these events is told through what people contribute, but it does form community bonds. I can't say enough how I believe commoners' laws of ecology also connect um, intimately to community. The idea of connection certainly is there. Um, how we engage with one another in one community will influence the way people engage in other communities. So the stewardship power of the arts to tell the stories of water, all the diverse stories of water, from the deep science that my friend Chris Lawrence does at the field station and his Hellbender friend who is now housed in there, all the way to somebody's memory of being with grandparents along the Ohio River. That is what helps, I think, reinforce care for some of the disciplinary work that's being done, the political work that's being done to bring people together from all of their corners to realize and understand that they belong together. So we are passionate about this. If you open the volume of Tributaria, you might read about adventure. You might read about different creatures like Dick's Hellbender poem, transportation, again, work, play, ghosts, old legends and lore around rivers, all up and down the watershed. Um, so we hope that we're in tandem with you. We consider ourselves honored to be here and share with you about this. Happy to also, of course, take questions. The final thing I'll say is many of the poet laureates in our watershed have contributed to this. They're invested. Our friend Carrie Gunter Seymour, simply to just read her poem in the volume, drove 3 hours to be here in Cincinnati at the Mercantile Library. There wasn't pay involved in this event that we held. People care is my point. A young person who contributed as an artist around the Mill Creek lugged a huge 4 foot by 3 foot piece of art into the last venue where we shared with music, art, and literature, put it on an easel. People go to the trouble because water is water is the entwining vine that keeps us all together. So I'll try. I'm sensitive to time. I normally would sing out a line from the song River that we often perform at these events, but as you can tell, I sound a little hoarse today, so I won't hurt your ears by singing the verse of River. But we certainly, with deference to Forrest's agenda, wanted to open up if people wanted to interact.
And we are ahead of schedule. I'd say let's go ahead and take some questions. If there's a poem or anything you would like to take a quick moment to read, you all would be welcome to. But yeah.
Well, that we're honored.
We are ahead of schedule today.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a short little poem here
Awesome.
from Tributaria. Do you know what a helgramite is? It's the larva of the Dobson fly, and it's a pretty horrifying looking critter with a lot of hooks and spines and everything. We used to collect them, and so this poem is set in Cross Creek in Jefferson County. Helgramite. Even your name seems a version of cursing, let alone the crabbing of your legs, your hooks and spikes, your dusky tint. Devil's turd, coal tar, devil scratcher. Yet you thrive in the fastest, clearest water, gills feathering, sacks and joints of you operative and elegant under cold rocks, performing the spare calculus of survival. We like to celebrate not only the places, but also the people and the creatures. And so that's one short example of a creature piece from Tributary.
'Tis the riparian way, my friend. I will share a piece from the former volume, Riparian. Um,
Good.
it is inspired. I have connections to the Tellico Plains Cherokee and pictures of family lines. And there's a practice of going to water, that has occurred in our watershed through tribal practice in the morning in order to renew. So I wrote a piece called Going to Water. And as I sit here, I see the Ohio River from my window. So this was inspired by the great Ohio River and all of the miles she travels. People talk about how this world has ruptured. Screens flip, news breaks from tower to tower as the buzz clots sunrise, punctures stars. Maybe there will still be time to follow the old path through a stand of cottonwood trees to wind inside sorrel's yellow flash along the river's edge. Just close your eyes. Calm yourself long enough to hear the current's deep rush, the Kentucky warblers calling out morning praise. Trust the tuned ache of each passing train on its way. You will come to know this story. Hold still. What matters now speaks beyond loops of sense, beyond progressive translations and missions. Today, the river is lit from within. Water knows where to go, why it must follow a certain path, never questioning crowds of pooping geese or the ghosted sycamores haunting its banks. Slime slickened high docks and lock houses, ebb and flow, set by seasons, a sudden shrouding fog. This is the riparian way. The river holds no words for how to map a course bearing inside a valley cradle, tracing water's thread from here to home. No, we just won't go to water in the good way, resting on muscled shores, fishing on free soil in the day's first light, happy in the wet twist of night crawlers, or tending bonfires as we would tend ancestral graves. Purpose flows inside of poems and rivers. Sing this. Yes, we will remember to do those things. We will go down there together. A hawk circles and dips uncaged, winging away in holiness. Catfish the size of flat screen TV monitors glide past, unburdened by time. We stand at the edge, silent, searching for a point to validate our arrival.
Thank you, Sherry.
So certainly, oh, of course. So I was going to say we certainly would take any questions, or we just also want to again express our appreciation of all the hard work you do from all of the different places where you are coming from.
I know Francis had a question in the chat of if there is a promotion or a promotional event for Tributaria. I would also ask if there is any sort of link where folks can learn more or maybe purchase a copy.
I can provide some information in the chat about that when you all go back to talking. And I will say that our next event will happen downtown. We just had our launch at the Mercantile Library. So the next event will be at the Literary Club downtown sometime in February. We're working on the date right now, so we don't have the promotional flyer. Certainly would be happy to share it. And then we'll also be doing readings at Artifact in April. The idea is really to link all the authors all over the region together. So there is an event forming in Boone, North Carolina right now about Tributaria as well. So we are enacting tributaries through our relationships with artists and writers around this. So I'm happy to share, Forrest, as even
Thank you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions before we move on? Well, I think this might be the first time we've had poetry read in one of our coalition meetings. I know we are all about tourism and economic development, and that might be a bit different for us, but I think it's absolutely wonderful to directly get to celebrate the art that celebrates our region. So
thank you.
thank you so much for all that you all do.
Thank you for inviting us. We're really happy to make the connection.
Yeah, perfect. Sweet. Well, one thing I realized I forgot to specifically mention at the top are updates regarding the Kentucky-Ohio River Regional Recreation Authority. For folks on this call, I see Judge Sparks and Judge Koch as well. I'm sure I'm missing some other folks as well. For your awareness, we are working on a budget request this session. I had some meetings up in Frankfurt yesterday, and it looks like this request will be included. Well, we'll at least have folks supportive of the request. Whether it actually gets written into the budget, we'll see. But this includes both funding for staffing of Cora and for a grants program to be administered by Cora to support projects in Ohio River counties in Kentucky. So we are working on the details of that. Everything is totally tentative. But I want you to know that I feel good about where we are at and that we're continuing to work on that. Perfect.
Great.
All right. All right, well, let's go ahead and open it up. I'm sure some of you all have some updates you would like to give. Don't be shy. I know there's exciting things happening. Ben, I'll pick on you. What's happening in Lewis County?
Well, some different things are happening. We had our first advisory board meeting. Judge Parks put together a committee of folks to try to start the process to see how we can do more tourism activities in Lewis County, named after Meriwether Lewis, 250th anniversary of Kentucky. So it's a big time to get involved, a good time to get involved. And so just excited for the future and all the things that Judge Parks is doing over there. And it's good to hear about this budget request falling on good ears and not deaf ears. So hopefully we can see that through. I'll be in contact with some of those folks here pretty soon. So I'll start putting in my 2 cents on it too for the Cora. And exciting things happening all the way around. So good to hear from everybody on the Zoom today.
Perfect.
And Ben, thanks so much for being a new member of our board. Great to have you on board.
Yes. And likewise, I see Jessica's on the call. Thank you so much for joining our board. Are there any updates you all would like to offer on the ACGP program and the funding there and where all that's at?
Sure. As of this month, I believe we have 16 of our 21 projects that are officially under construction. We're burning through permits from the Army Corps, building permits, everything we need to move along. I think most exciting is that we've officially started construction on our largest project there at the Portsmouth Riverfront. We are still awaiting an Army Corps permit there. But we are allowed to work in the areas outside their jurisdiction. So the Portsmouth Riverfront is closed for business until further notice, hopefully prior to October 31st. But I think chances of us actually finishing that project ahead of schedule are pretty low because we've got 9 months to finish up this really aggressive 1.5 mile long, $34 million all-in project. So I'm looking forward
Wow.
to seeing all these new riverfronts from north of Marietta down to Cincinnati. And I hope that people have a great time this summer, because some of them will be opening up this summer through this fall, enjoying those, and a lot of the tributaries that are present on these riverfronts as well. So it's exciting.
Hey,
Thank you so
Jessica,
much.
could you just share your role with this amazing set of projects?
Sure. So I'm the primary administrator for the Appalachian Community Grant Program Wonderful Waterfronts Round One, as commissioned by Governor Mike DeWine. The Appalachian Community Grant Program was a $500 million program. It was a set aside out of American Rescue Plan funds that were allocated to the state of Ohio. And then Governor DeWine went one step further and allocated that $500 million for Appalachian counties. If you're not aware, Ohio actually has 32 Appalachian counties out of our 88. I worked with a number of fantastic communities up and down the Ohio River. And at the end of the day, we got around $153 million to develop this collaborative riverfront project. We're just trying to showcase our beautiful waterfronts. And I've learned a lot of those really cool stories along the way. The history and the lore of the Ohio is fascinating. So I'm really excited to pick up a copy of Tributaria. And actually, I'm a big John Hartford fan, if you know who that is.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so I was really excited just personally. Right before Christmas, I found a copy of Steamboat in a Cornfield. So if you want to read a really amusing story about the Ohio, pick that up.
You're wonderful, Jessica.
That's great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Perfect.
I'll just jump on and echo what Jessica said, that I'm Nate Welch. I'm from the Portsmouth and Sauter County Visitors Bureau, and yes, we are very ecstatic. Everybody is talking about the riverfront being redone down here. Ironically speaking, when you say things are closed, everybody gets that, and I'm like, oh no. But here we're like, yay, it's closed. That means stuff is happening. So we're excited for that. But there's actually a couple other things we're excited about here in Portsmouth. So we have the Burnside Brain Camp Park. It's a little city park here in the downtown area that is done via private funding. So no government funding whatsoever. It's pretty much all private donations and private funding. It is set to be completed, completely completed by the springtime, kind of early June timeframe. So we're set for that. There's a little like splash pad, concrete splash pad in the bottom of it that they recently installed just before the holidays. And then we have they just have installed landscaping around, so it'll be fully ready to go for the public to enjoy this summer. And then we have the Southern Ohio Museum, a little local art and history museum that's local downtown. It has been under renovations and expansion this past year, and here we'll see that open up here in the next couple of months. So it's not just the riverfront we're excited about. Of course, that's probably the biggest one that we have and we're most excited about, but there's some big things happening in downtown Portsmouth. So thought I'd share that. And go Jessica. She's done an awesome job with everything with this project. Kudos to her to help everything between her and Tracy Shearer with the city. I don't know where we'd be. So thank you all. We appreciate you all.
Thank you. I definitely got to give it to the communities. Our communities up and down the Ohio are incredible.
I could give a report on the outcome of the America's River Roots Festival that was in Cincinnati, Newport, Covington in October. Big shout out to Ohio Way and Orsenko, who did a fabulous job cleaning up the riverfront the weekend before. It was a great way to welcome 9 riverboats from all over the country. We had 52,000 people that rode the riverboats, another couple 100,000 that were on shore to enjoy the music and the other cultural attractions. And one of the permanent legacies of the event is the app that's available on Android and Apple, called the Freedom Journey. It's going to be maintained by the Museum Center in Cincinnati, so they'll continue to maintain its presence on the web and also use it in educational purposes. But more importantly, it'll be something that you can promote on the Ohio River Way as one of the braided trails. There's 140 sites that are documented in one place. Before we had the Park Service had Freedom Journey sites. Claremont County had some. It was never integrated. So there's 140 sites with brand new photography, some drone footage. All the histories of each of the sites have been updated and documented with the Museum Center. And it's available for free downloading and use, and it's a GPS-based system. So we hope Ohio River Way will continue to add things to it of great places to stay, like, coffee shops, all the kind of recommendations you can plan out for these tours, because there's a 1-day tour, a 2-day tour, and a 3-day tour that's suggested in this app. So anyway, hopefully it'll be another great add to our promotion of the Ohio River Valley.
Perfect.
Rick, I got a question for you. Since now you have the final numbers, I was one of the groups that were part of the travel showcase at the River Roots Festival, and it was fantastic. We talked to a lot of different people. Do you think what are the plans for the future of the festival? Is it going to occur again? If so, what's the time frame?
We did this festival for America's 250th to launch the year, and it was a great community effort because everybody got behind it financially so we could showcase the Ohio River in American history. It's tough because there's no permanent event commission in Cincinnati where they take on big risks like this. This is a huge enterprise, and the other event production companies like the Chamber of Commerce pretty much do their annual events, Oktoberfest, et cetera. So finding an entity that will take this on as a way to promote the river culture of America is going to be tough, to be honest. I know I don't know if I can do it again, but you need a structure that will own this and promote it and raise the money to do it. And I don't know when yet. We're going to package all the data up, give it to the Chamber of Commerce and some other leaders and sit in the city. So I can't answer the question. I hope it doesn't. I hope it's a reoccurring event. I don't know how often, but I hope someone can figure out a way to take a leadership role and do it again, because it certainly captured the heartstrings of the people that came and also garnered some good publicity for the Ohio River throughout the country. So,
Rick, I just wanted to say how, wonderful it is to have those celebrations, and I hope it does happen. You folks in Ohio have so much to teach us and here in Kentucky, and I just think the Kentucky-Ohio River Regional Recreation Authority has a great act to follow with you folks up there in Ohio and Indiana. I just wanted to emphasize one piece that Forrest brought up about our challenge. We do have the Restore boat, a floating laboratory on it again this year. Many thanks to Israel. So we're going to have our 3-week ecological lab. And 2 days ago, we had a fascinating meeting with the University of Pittsburgh, the Marshall University, University of Kentucky, Thomas More, and U of L, and really looking at sort of having a comprehensive research of our river, focusing on the islands
Mm-hmm.
the confluence areas of each of the tributaries. The University of Kentucky Water Research Institute has agreed to sort of really help shape the data collection system and storage. And we're just excited to work with Molly for sure, with her background with Thomas More. And so if you do know of some students who have an interest in spending 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, please reach out to Forrest or Molly or Mary, or go on the website and check it out. It's pretty well detailed, but it's just exciting to see all these universities come together to provide equipment. And just, another big shout out is to Orsenko with their floating classroom and how we can learn from that, and working with the botanist from Victor's shop up there with the Ohio River Islands and National Wildlife Refuge. So we'll stop and visit the first 3 islands owned by Victor, well, not owned by Victor, but owned by U.S. Fish and Wildlife. So it's just exciting. So May 10th to June 1st.
Perfect. Thank you, David. Jordan, I should have recognized you sooner. I see your hand is up.
No worries. And I'm sorry again, I'm off camera. In addition to restarting, my internet's been unstable, so it's just one of those days. Really quick, update. This is at Ohio River Basin Alliance. As folks may know, they host an annual Ohio River Hill Day, which is when people go to the nation's capital to talk about the great things happening. A lot of the stories we're hearing today are wonderful examples of that. And that's all in service to elevating Ohio River restoration and protection as a national priority. And this year, while it's not nailed down, I just want to let folks know, and it piggybacks off the dates, actually, David, you just mentioned. It looks like that will be the week of May 11th. And they usually do a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Thursday. Those dates aren't solidified, but they were looking at a few weeks in April and a few weeks in May. And as of this week, it looks like they're coalescing around something the week of May 11th. And I just bring that up for folks who have a desire to go to DC to educate lawmakers, to tell some of these great stories, and to really keep this region on the map nationally. And there'll be more information, I'm sure, in the coming weeks or next month or so. But I just want to let folks know that is forming. So I'm sure the Ohio River Basin Alliance folks, again, will have more details in the coming weeks. But for planning purposes, if you're interested, just pencil that in. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Jordan. Beth, I see you have your hand up.
Yes. Hi, good morning. Similar to Jordan, I'm sorry I cannot turn my camera on at the moment. But on the theme of tributaries, I just wanted to share that Mill Creek Alliance will be holding our annual State of the Mill Creek address coming up on February 4th. So we have different ways to distribute that registration form and invitation, but it's our annual meeting sharing water quality updates, project reviews, programs from 2025. We had a pretty big year, as well as some really great things to come that we have in the pipeline for 2026. So we would love to see all of you there if you're available to make it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Beth. I'm looking forward to being there. I saw earlier that Caitlin with Tri-State Trails, I don't know if you were still on, but I saw you post a few events in the chat. Would you like to speak about those any?
Yeah, thanks, Forrest. One of them is the Mill Creek, State of the Mill Creek. So we're going to be sharing that in our upcoming newsletter. So there's a link there and also on Mill Creek Alliance's website. I'm also looking forward to be there. Another upcoming event that Tri-State Trails is hosting. We host the Regional Trails and Bikeway Committee meetings quarterly. Sometimes the meetings happen twice a quarter, but the first one we always host is the kind of rapid fire trail report, where we have currently we have about 20 organizations, trail organizations, who are going to quickly give some updates, what they accomplished in 2025 and what they're looking forward to in 26. I always leave that meeting feeling really inspired. It's kind of like a big picture of regional trail network and how we're all working together to connect and make it better. So definitely check it out at tristatetrails.org. We have event registration there. And I think that's maybe all I shared for now. I guess while I have the mic and the floor, I'll also mention Breakfast on the Bridge, which happens every year in May. I was just sending a message to Kristen Woods about the 5K that she shared, where they're encouraging folks to cross the Purple People Bridge and run along the river. It'd be great, Kristen, to have you all come and talk at Breakfast on the Bridge, talk to folks. Breakfast on the Bridge, if you haven't been, it's a celebration of National Bike to Work or Bike Anywhere Day, and also just National Bike Month. And we set up from 7 to 9 a.m. on the Purple People Bridge, and we have lots of organizations set up tents and tables, and we've had as many as 300 people come out for free coffee and excellent pastries and donuts. So we're encouraging folks to get out, ride their bike to work or to school or to wherever they want to go, use multimodal transportation. And yeah, so everyone's invited to that. That's May 15th this year. And that's also at tristatetrails.org. But thanks, Forrest.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Caitlin, this is Kristen Woods. So I put my email in the chat for you. So we would love to come.
Amazing. Awesome. So great.
Awesome. A quick update from us. I always think of things when we're on. We will be at the Cincinnati and Louisville boat shows upcoming. So the Cincinnati one starts at the end of next week, and then the Louisville one is a week or so after that. If there are any tourism bureaus that would like us to showcase any materials of yours, shoot me an email. You're welcome to mail them to us, and we will proudly display that as part of our booth. But yeah, we are very excited to be at the boat shows. It'll be our first time there, and we're pushing the travel guide as part of that. We think this will be the perfect audience for that. Perfect. I see in the chat, Lane, I don't know if you're still on. I had not seen that bill was introduced in Kentucky. Would you want to briefly speak to that?
Yeah, it's a bill that had been filed before, and it just dropped yesterday, so you're not behind any information on that. But the last time this was presented, it was a new lawmaker, and he had been getting feedback that he might want to restructure the bill somewhat. So that's why I'd like to gather some information. So feel free to read through it. If you have any input, that would be great, and we can pass that along to him.
So there is, in short, it would be a bill to create an Office of Outdoor Recreation Industry within the Cabinet for Economic Development. So it's not in the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet. Interesting.
No, and that was one of the pieces of feedback that he received last time, and so I'm not sure why he didn't modify the bill.
Interesting. Okay, well, we will take a look into that, but just for everyone's awareness, that's out there in case you're asked about it.
Forrest, there is a similar effort afoot in Ohio.
Okay.
I don't think reached the point where there's any legislation proposed, but people are working on it in Ohio.
Well, I don't think Indiana has one either. My understanding is that 24 states around the country have offices of outdoor rec, and I don't think any of ours do.
There's discussions in Indiana as well, just so you know.
Okay. Good deal. How far have those developed, Eric?
It was a side conversation. There's a national organization called the Outdoor Recreation Roundtable, and they have been the spearhead of the creation of the 24 existing offices. Their target states for 26 are Ohio, and Indiana. I just shared this link with Chris at ORR, just wondering if they've been engaged in Kentucky or not. And if not, they certainly should be somebody that makes some comments. The Governor Braun and a couple people on his personal staff, when approached by Chris Perkins with ORR towards the end of last year about the concept, Governor Braun immediately said, "Why aren't we already doing that?" I will say that's been walked back by his staff a little bit. But when a governor says, why aren't we already doing that? That is a nice opening for continuing the conversation. So it's no farther than conversations with the administration at this point.
And Eric, just so you know, our board president is currently Jerry James with the Explore Kentucky initiative. So I flagged this bill for him as well just a little bit ago. We both talked with Whitaker last year, and like I said, I'm not sure why he did a refile without modifications. So I know Jerry is well connected to ORR.
Great, perfect.
So Eric, or if there's someone on, or Lane or Francis or someone that knows more about this than I do, could you all briefly describe what offices of outdoor rec do in general in the states where they do exist?
Whew. Yeah, it would be great if that was a simple answer.
Okay.
They look differently in the states, right? Some of them look similar to each other, but they live in all kinds of different places. Some are in tourism departments, some are in economic development departments, some are in parks and rec departments. They look differently in different states. The concept behind the Office of Outdoor Rec is to try to bring together the entire outdoor recreation industry at a state level to push for projects and all kind legislation and policy to support the outdoor industry. So where it goes beyond what a lot of us work in trails and water trails, bike, whatever. This is, I mean, you're in Indiana. This is the RV industry. This is certainly the hook and bullet industry, right? Like, I mean, the outdoor recreation is massive, and so it's trying to bring industry voices into the conversation, but understanding the importance of public lands, of trails, of all of, what probably most of the kinds of things that us on calls like this work in a little more closely, trying to understand the ecosystem of the outdoor industry. It is both public lands and access to public lands, but it is also manufacturing. It is also, all of the things that you need to enjoy or go out and use the outdoors. And so there's been a bifurcation between industry and public lands and users. And the Office of Outdoor Rec is trying to create a more umbrella approach to the outdoor industry as a whole. And there's been, really good examples. They've been, out there for a few years. Utah's office is amazing. Wisconsin's office has been doing some really interesting things out of tourism. Pennsylvania's office. There's a lot of them out there, but there isn't a one size fits all, which I think is great, right? It's not a do this. It's not prescriptive, but there is an overarching rationale for why. Yeah.
Okay.
Previously in Indiana, that has been shot down by the Department of Natural Resources, mostly because they have their own division of outdoor recreation within the Department of Natural Resources.
Correct.
So that could change. We have a new administration, we have new people in charge at DNR, but that has been the pushback in the past. The other thing is always related to budget and who's going to lose their budget to create this office. And so DNR doesn't want to give up their budget, and we don't have budget to give up at this point. Right. So yeah. That's the other thing in Indiana that has become the sticking point. I didn't know this was back on the table, so learn something new every day.
No, we should it on the table might even be kind. I was just alerted that there were conversations had.
I mean, somebody's listening, so
yes,
it's always good to know instead of find out later.
Perfect. Well, we have reached 11. I think this was a very, very productive meeting. I'm so very grateful to all of you all for making the time. I don't know how many groups could have 70 people get on a call and just talk for about a half hour and have it be very productive. So thank you. Of course, per usual, we will have our classic water cooler conversation, and Brewster, I, and anyone that wants to stay on another 5 or 10 minutes will be here. But if you need to get going, thank you so very, very much.
Right. Thank you, Forrest. And I also want to thank the elected officials who joined us, because we had mayors from 3 different communities, 2 wonderful judge executives from Lewis and Meade counties, and elected officials who were members of city councils from Vansburg and New Richmond as well. So anyway, thank you so much for everybody joining us. And I appreciate your excitement and enthusiasm. Look forward to working with you in the coming year. So this meeting is officially over, but please feel free to hang out and chip in and join us if you'd like to continue the conversation. Thanks so much, folks.
I'd like to say thank you for all the good work you're doing with the Ohio River Way and with Cora. I'm excited about the future of it, and you guys are doing great, and I appreciate that, and appreciate Mr. Ben Collier representing Lewis County for us and working with you all as well.
Well,
Thank
Judge,
you, and have a blessed day.
We appreciate you and look forward to seeing you as we paddle through Lewis
Absolutely,
County. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, we'll
always
welcome
enjoy
you.
visiting with you on the riverbank. That's great. Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you all very much.
Always good seeing you, George, and always enjoy our meetings with the Ohio River Way. And got a lot of things going on with Department of Interior. Wish we could make it happen like that. It ain't happening like that. But we've got a meeting with them later today, and hopefully we move a little bit more forward towards getting Otter Creek within Meade County's hands.
Well, you have a huge project that is going to be beneficial to everybody up and down the river, and we look forward to learning more about how you are continuing to make progress. So maybe at the next meeting we could have a little update from you guys about your exciting project. All right?
Absolutely. Forrest knows a lot of the stuff that we're working on. I don't think
yeah.
we're in prime time to talk about everything.
Well, it's exciting. Thanks so much. Good to have you. Anybody else? Hey, Catfish, I see you're still on. Do you want to take a minute about your thoughts for this exciting project this summer?
Yeah. We're kind of in the beginning stages of talking about some shorter paddles this year with some musicians. We have amazing musicians that live all up and down the Ohio River. So trying to get those musicians on the water and help their social media followings and use their social media followings to help us tell our story and get the word out. So the idea being, and it's still early stages, but probably Sunday to Wednesday is what we would focus on, as most musicians, those are their slower days this first year. And shorter trips, shorter paddles, culminating with a show on the last day with Black Fork Radio, which is an online radio station. So probably be like a 2-hour live concert and then be on the radio. So be able to interview folks from the town, the musicians, talk about what they saw on the river, and basically just use it as a tool to be able to go up and down the river and help spread awareness and tell our story through the musicians. Lot of logistics issues and things like that we're trying to work through. So just kind of the beginning stages. I guess Forrest and Jessica, we met with Israel to talk about the boat and things like that, but we had some really big, grand ideas. And I think this year we might just try and narrow it down. And that would give us opportunity to go all up and down the river and hit little 2-3 day trips with these musicians.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much. We'll keep everybody up to date as you develop your planning. Sounds exciting.
So Catfish and Brewster, would this be anything like when you do Paddle Fest, where you have musicians playing on Israel's boat while we paddle down?
Maybe.
Possibly.
There's a lot to figure out. We'll see exactly what the final form takes, John, but in short, we're very excited to be talking about how we can better engage musicians to create some awesome experiences for our local river towns and to shine a spotlight again on the arts and culture of the Ohio River. So
cool.
Catfish, give me a call at some time. I think it'd be neat to paddle on down to Payne Hollow and spend an evening there and have some good music and then go on into Louisville. So I think, starting up there at your place and connecting the two, give me a call.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many cool spots that, when I was on the challenge, you're kind of on the Ohio most of the time. So I think this might give us an opportunity to maybe hit some more of those tributaries and stuff too, for these shorter trips.
Hey, Catfish.
Yeah.
Keep New Richmond in mind. We're a pretty cool place.
Oh, absolutely. I love New Richmond. And there's so many cool, I mean, there's so many, I think that's the coolest thing about this idea is we could we could do 33-day events and never hit the same city twice. So that's kind of the idea too, is to try and branch out to include everyone along the way, and even some of these tributaries and smaller towns.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Catfish.
Yep.
And I wanted to chime in on Eric's statements about the different state outdoor recreation groups that are out there.
Thanks,
There is
Lynn.
a
Yeah.
website called confluenceofstates.com. And you can also get on their email list, but it does talk about all their activities. They'll go through and they'll talk about the dollars that states are allocating towards them. And so Confluence of the States, and you can get on their monthly email list as well. But the cool thing to me is the Outdoor Economy Conference that's held in North Carolina the last 2 years. They actually piggybacked that event and they came in and provided many great speakers, but they also had meetings. So all of those folks kind of came together in one spot. Now, the sad thing is, maybe the good thing for the planners, but the sad thing for the industry is that they will not have an event in 2026. It's going to become a biennial event. And so the next one will not happen until 2027, but it should be again in Cherokee, North Carolina in the fall.
Thanks, Lynn.
OutdoorEconomyConference.org, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put Confluence of States in the chat.
It was great to see you there last year, Len. It was a good event.
Great for you to be there too.
Yeah. Thanks for getting us there.
Anybody else?
I would like to take just a second, just to update on a couple of things related to Meade County and Otter Creek. There are two events that are coming up here in the very near future. This weekend, actually, January 17th, the Derby City Fly Fishers is hosting their 19th Kentuckiana Fly Fishing Show. That's going to be at the Paraguay Spring Conference Center in Shepherdsville. I can actually copy and paste some information on that into the chat, but they're one of our stakeholders and they're really heavily involved in the stream restoration efforts and the fishery progress happening at Otter Creek. So we want to show them some love and support with that show they're putting on for fly fishing. It should be really interesting and we want to show them our support. And then earlier, it's convenient that I think I heard Hellbenders mentioned during our conversation. I actually have an email that I'm looking at from the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers and Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife are actually collaborating to put on an event to essentially what they're trying to do is do a survey on Eastern hellbenders. So they are very excited to do some building of traps is what they're actually going to be doing because they need to do this survey to see if they can locate any active Eastern hellbender populations. And coincidentally enough, Otter Creek and the situation that it's in is a bit like a conservationist time capsule. There's not been any development anywhere in that area. It's virtually untouched. So we're really optimistic that they might be able to locate some Eastern hellbenders somewhere in the park. And that would be a really exciting project. That is tentatively scheduled for March 7th. I don't really have anything I can share in the chat at the moment that's definitive, but just as we have more meetings in the future, I'll bring up any specifics. But just if anybody's interested in conservation and the Eastern hellbenders, which are technically endangered, if you'd like to participate with that, that is going to be the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers happening here in Meade County sometime in early March. March 7th is when it's tentatively scheduled. And beyond that, Judge Coke hit on this. There is kind of a light at the end of the tunnel with this Otter Creek project that I've been working on extensively for the past, well, a little over a year now at this point. This is just a monumental undertaking, and we are collaborating with the Department of the Interior, Louisville Metro, Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife. Forest has been of great help. There's a lot of stakeholders and a lot of different people involved in this, and it's been just a monumental undertaking to get us this close to the finish line. So the final push and the intention is to have that park in our possession and ready to go prior to the recreational season coming up here in late March. So beyond that, just anybody that's hosting any events or looking for anything that they'd like to do related to the river, the riverfront community, arts, heritage, music, anything like that. When we take over Otter Creek, that is a big portion of our revenue strategy for the park as an outdoor event space. So we are going to break that wide open as soon as we are allowed to. So if anybody has any events or anything like that that's looking for a home that we can establish long term, especially, we'd like to invite you to come out and check out Otter Creek and take a look at what we have to offer, and hopefully bring some more events out to this part of the region. That's it for me. Thank you all.
Thanks
so much, Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Forrest. Yeah.
No, that was it. Thank you. I'll January 17th, you said it was, right?
Yep.
Yes. I copy and
chat.
pasted some
Okay.
information in the chat that's got the link to Derby City Fly Fishers website for the event, as well as a Google map link for where it's going to be located. I am going to do my best to get out there and attend that. I love fly fishing, and there's some tremendous fishing opportunities out at Otter Creek. So,
good deal.
So far as I see, our friend Linda is on the call from Higgins, beautiful downtown Higginsport.
Yeah, so my name's Linda Fester, and I am from Higginsport. We are in Brown County, Ohio, yes. And I just wanted to say that I was actually at a Chamber of Commerce, the Brown County Chamber of Commerce annual meeting this morning. There were probably about 120 people there. I don't know. I was trying to figure out the tables, maybe a little bit more. But, Representative Adam Byrd was there. There were some commissioners there. The Economic Development Department was there. But anyway, I was so excited when I got home and was able to tell my husband, there's a lot of excitement in Brown County about the ACGP program and the riverfront projects in Ripley and Higginsport. Mount Orab is kind of the big village in Brown County that everybody always talks about, but the river towns are getting some recognition now, and a lot of it has to do with the Ohio River Way. I highly commend you guys all the time, because I really don't think Higginsport would be where it is today if it weren't for the Ohio River Way. And our project is going really well. We are definitely going to meet our timeline. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we don't get too much flooding, in the spring. I don't know if the park is going to be completely finished for the challenge, but it's going to be pretty darn close. So when you guys come through this year, unfortunately, I won't be here this year. I have my nieces getting married in California, but we will give you a big, warm Higginsport welcome again. But we're going to have, a transient boat dock, some green space, some camping facilities. So I was a little disappointed, today when I saw the little Brown County booklet they passed out, because Higginsport really wasn't in it yet, but we are going to be. We just have to have something to get people here. And once we get this park, we're going to be on your digital guide. We're going to be in the Brown County Chamber booklet or whatever you call it. And Jessica is our lead applicant. So ILCAO has done a wonderful job with these projects. And again, we wouldn't be here without Jessica. I wouldn't have even known to call Jessica and try to get her to take our project on if it wasn't for the Ohio River Way. So
well, you're very kind, Linda. Thank you. And we love to, even if you're not going to be there, we love to ribbon cut, at least we dedicate the new national water trail that runs right past Higginsport as we come through with the challenge. So thank you so much. That's great.
Thank you guys.
Good job. See you. Anybody else like to chip in before we close? Before we cut off the water at the water cooler? Jim Bishop.
Yeah. Hi. A couple things I'd like to ask about and mention. You're talking about the Ohio Riverway Restoration Act. We were pretty instrumental in getting Representative Carson to sign on to this bill, and his people in his office have told us that they go 2 by 2, so they're going bipartisan. So he signed on like in early December, but it didn't show up until January. So they had to have a corresponding Republican to match Representative Carson, who's a Democrat. So they do 2 by 2 how they do that and how they note those. Also, I'd like to mention the Boat Sport and Travel Show here in Indianapolis. It's one of the largest shows in the Midwest. It's sponsored by Ford Motor Company. A huge show. I know Kentucky Tourism, they're all over that place. They're very heavily involved. Indiana Tourism is heavily involved as well. It's something Ohio Riverway should do, and I mentioned it to Ford. I don't know if you've had any chance to look into that yet.
It is on my calendar. We will not have a booth there, but I will come up for a day or two. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody there.
Sure, and we'll have your guide out there for sure. We'll definitely have a guide out there for sure. No question about that.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Yeah, also, one more quick question about the trails committee. I know Joe is not involved anymore. Is Brad from Tri-State Trails kind of taking that over? Or
Brad is very involved, as is Wade.
If you need anybody from Indiana Trails, we'd be more than happy to help if you are interested.
Yes, we would love for you all to be a part of that. Who would be the right person for me to add to that list, Jim?
Probably Richard, possibly. I would think Richard would be the best, probably.
Okay. All right.
I would think.
Okay.
What are the odds that Chris is going to wind up owning a boat after going to boat shows all over the Midwest on behalf of the Ohio? A bigger car with a tow hitch.
Are these business expenses?
Well, the Boat Sport and Travel Show is heavily about tourism as well. So there's tons of boats out there, but it's also a lot about tourism.
Right.
Perfect.
Great.
Good deal.
Okay, folks. Jerry Schulte, who is a member of our board. Good to see you, Jerry.
Good morning. Yeah, just a quick shout out to Forrest. He and I attended a meeting of the Northern Kentucky Fly Fishers. He gave a great presentation there. Had a lot of people, about 60, 70 people there for us?
They have a very engaged group.
They do. It was very engaged. Yeah. He gave a great presentation on behalf of our organization in the Ohio River and had a lot of good questions and a lot of good discussions. So, good job, Forrest.
Well, that's very kind, Jerry. Thank you. And thank you so much for coming and making it work, since you know those folks, and thank you.
And it just raises finally a point that obviously we're promoting various kinds of recreation, from paddling to cycling to hiking, and power boating, but also fishing. And to the extent we can engage help from those guys and help them to promote fishing on the Ohio, that's huge. It generates a lot of revenue for communities, and engages all kinds of people from all kinds of walks of life. So anyway, with your help, Mr. Fisherman Jerry, we can do a better job as we move forward in promoting the fishing opportunities along the river.
Perfect.
Right? So thank you.
Absolutely.
And thank you all. I am going to be going to the Kentucky Transportation Conference right now, but I think today has been a great call. So thank you so very much.
Thank you all very much.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.